All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for taking time in your lunch break for joining me on this um, presentation. I'm going to talk about understanding agritourism customers and give some practical tips and a business tool that we use in the small business world for understanding those agritourism farm customer insights, testing your assumptions, and seizing those market opportunities. So I hope this is useful to you as we go along. All right, so let's get started. I am from the New York Small Business Development Center, or SBDC. It's a mouthful. And if you're not familiar with SBDC, this is actually a nationwide program. We're in all 50 states and the territories. It's federally funded by the Small Business Administration, or SBA. We've been around for 41 years. And our mission, what we do, is to provide no-cost, confidential, one-on-one business training and advising to small businesses. We work with all types of small businesses, and in the federal definition, that's any business with less than 500 employees. So you can imagine that's about 95% of the businesses in the United States. Small businesses like agritourism, like farms, they're really the backbone of the American economy. So we're here to serve small businesses. We have 20 centers and another 70 satellite centers across the state. So if you're interested in getting some no-cost business advising, you can just hop on our website here and go ahead and set up an appointment with a center nearest you. And then I would like to just share a little bit about me. I just celebrated my 10-year anniversary with Small Business Development Center. I am a certified business advisor here with the Niagara Center. So we're located in Niagara County, right close to Niagara Falls. And then I am actually the chair of the Agriculture Committee for SBDC, our statewide program. So I help any other advisors that get farm clients and have questions about specific nature of working with farm clients. So you will be well supported, and then we help, any questions about pricing or grant opportunities out there, or putting together a business plan if you're going for funding or lending. I am also on the nationwide SBDC's working group for rural and agriculture businesses as well. So I get to learn about and keep up to date on any topics, any issues that are affecting rural businesses and farms across the country. And so that's also really great. And then I also co-own with my husband a small vegetable, flower, and fruit farm in Lockport, New York, which is about, that's about 20 miles north of Buffalo. And we've been running that for 14 years. So I have been, I've been a beginning farmer, and now, and we've evolved and changed our farm business model from working mostly with a community supported agriculture program. We had a 200-member CSA program, and for several years in the farmers market, worked with restaurants as well. And then we actually just transitioned to a flower U-Pick, let's see, 3 years ago. This was the end of our third season. So I also know and love agritourism with our U-Pick operation. I love supporting farms and farmers. I'm a member of Cornell Extension, Farm Bureau, Northeast Organic Farming Association. Our farm is certified naturally grown, and I'm a 4-H mom too. That's my newest foray into this. So I love working with other farmers. All right, let's get started. So this is kind of my framework for thinking about farm business management. When you're thinking about the evolution of what you're learning and the foundational skills that a farmer needs to have in order to keep their business successful. And that's if you're just starting your farm business, it's really important to get to know your farm customers, right? Without customers, we would have no farm. So getting to know them is really important. And the sooner that you could do that, the easier it will be for you in the long run. So that's to start your business. You're full of energy. You have all of this momentum. It's all really exciting. There's so many possibilities. So getting to know your farm customers is really, really important. But to stay in business, you got to know your numbers. So you got to know those farm numbers. I know it's kind of the least fun thing to do, sitting in front of the computer and trying to figure out numbers, but this is definitely the season for it. So you're on the right track if you're here learning about this. And that's what's really going to help you stay in business, is figuring out what's profitable, what's not profitable, how you can adjust those, whether it's your prices or streamlining your operations in order to make those numbers work for your farm and your business and your family. And then there's also growing your farm business. So in order to grow your farm business, you have to be able to know how to evaluate those market opportunities and make sure that they are actually going to work for your business. So knowing how to evaluate those market opportunities is really important. So today I'm going to share with you one business tool that is super helpful. I think every small business should know how to do this, and every small business should know how should have a customer avatar. So I'm going to teach you that tool. And then I'm going to give you a step-by-step instruction of how to test your market assumptions so that you can evaluate those market opportunities that come up for agritourism businesses. So for your operation, why do these insights matter, right? Like why does it matter if you can just post something on TikTok or social or Instagram and open up your doors and people will come? Well, because if you're in a business, you know it's not that easy. It's not that easy. So it really is important to find your people, find your niche, because frankly, not everyone will buy from local farms, right? So we got to find the people who will come to our farms, who will support us, rain or shine. Even if we have like a really, rainy, cold fall, are they going to come to our Apple U-Pick and show up regardless? Those are our people, right? So we got to find those people. And then we got to learn all about them. Learn our customer preferences. What makes them happy? What do they love? What makes them feel connected to our farms? What makes them loyal to our farm and not any of the other options out there, right? So keeps them coming back. And these preferences will help you as business owners make more informed decisions. So again, it goes back to that skill of being able to evaluate any market opportunity that comes your way and seeing if that's actually going to be good for your farm or whether it's going to be a waste of your time and money. And then our customer insights will matter because then we're not waiting. I'm sure we've all had this in business where we didn't know an answer to a question that came up, and we waited. The opportunity passed, or we didn't innovate in a timely manner. So these customer insights, if we can go back to that, we can not wait and we can innovate. Because growing our business is going to be what keeps it relevant and what keeps it fresh and what keeps those customers coming back. So we want to create those experiences that your customer craves. and looks forward to and keeps coming back to. So this picture right here is actually from our farm. We do a farm to table dinner only twice a year, and it fills up. Once we put the tickets out, it fills up within a few days because people crave that experience. And so it's turned it into not just another flower you pick, but this garden oasis with this unique experience that that our customers are looking for. So it keeps that customer loyalty going. And we wouldn't have done that. We wouldn't have known that if we didn't have those customer insights. So I wanted to give that there. Okay. So what do I mean by understanding your customer? Well, like I said, you want to know who your core customer are, core customers are. These are the customers where they are going to, they understand you, they understand your business, they understand your farm, what you're trying to provide. They understand the value that you are creating with your business. And that's not everybody. And so the sooner that we can shed that white noise, those opportunistic customers, maybe those like service drain customers that ask a lot of questions, don't buy a lot, never come back, maybe they complain a lot, you know, that, oh, there are bees on flowers or something like that. Oh, we have to walk to an apple orchard. Yes. Those are not our customers, right? Those aren't our core customers. So the sooner we realize that agritourism is not for everybody, but it sure is for our special core customers, the better off we're going to be. And then this is a marketing rule that is really important because, and I see this a lot with agritourism businesses where they want to show every possible activity and exciting thing that they have on their farm in order to draw people in. And it in fact does the opposite. It turns people off. So the marketing rule is that you sell one product to one customer at a time, at one time. So when you are speaking with your core customer, you're just offering them one thing. And that is something that your customer can really make that split decision about and motivate them, inspire them to come to your farm. In order to do that, you have to know who's your ideal customer. So you have to be able to answer this. And I like to start with just having you close your eyes and think about who is your favorite customer? Who's the customer that when you see them pulling into your parking lot or see them coming into your barn, you're like, oh yeah, Joanne's here, you know? Who is that? You probably have a few, right? 2 or 3 in your mind that you are like, they really get us. They really are fun to talk to, you know? That's probably your ideal customer. If you were like, if we just had 10 or 15 more Joannes in the world coming to our farm, then we would be set, right? We would be making good sales and you know, be profitable. So understanding who your ideal customer is really important, and you can start with your favorite, you know. Then you want to attract that ideal customer to your farm. So you're not out there searching, but you are attracting them to you with tailoring your marketing and advertising to be exactly what they're looking for. And then you can analyze how big your potential target market is of your core customers. So if you're thinking, I'm using, I'm using my farm as an example, right? So right here, you know, we have a flower you pick, and our potential target market is going to be, you know, primarily women in a pretty large age group span. And they're coming from all over Niagara County and Northern Erie County. And we are offering them something that's high quality, so they will drive for that. We've had people drive from south of Buffalo, so over an hour to get to our farm. Um, and and so we are able to analyze based on demographic data and what their preferences are, how big our target market is um, in our area. The other key thing is our potential market drives, right? So this is also an important factor in our target market. So it is much better for to be the best quality in your niche than to be spread too thin, right? So again, going back to that, offering one product to one customer at one time is that we can offer, flower you pick to to this is ideal customer right here, and in the summer months. So that's it. We're not Disney World. None of us have thousands and thousands of employees at our disposal, to offer a customer experience. None of us have an unlimited marketing budget, and all the technology in the world. So, spreading ourselves too thin sometimes backfires, right? So being high quality and delivering that experience is going to be really key. So how do we understand our customer? Well, I'm going to introduce you to this tool here, and I'd love to do a show of hands. I'm going to pull over participant. How many people are familiar with a customer avatar? You can just do a show of hands if you want. I don't want to. All right. Caroline is awesome. Good. Anybody else on there? Oh, okay. Okay, well, I'm very excited. Caroline, this will be a refresher for you. And for everybody else, I'm very excited to introduce this business tool for you. This is called a customer avatar, or you'll hear it by a lot of different names. Customer profile is another big one too. So what it is a kind of generic character that you are creating that's based on real life, but this is the ideal customer that you are trying to attract to your agritourism farm. And this is where you're going to synthesize all of the customer insights that you have about your ideal customer and put them in one place. Every corporation has these. Every small business should have these. There's no reason why you shouldn't have a customer avatar for every segment that you have, because this is how you're going to gauge if you are attracting the right target audience to your farm or not. If you're, attracting customers that aren't paying for the value that you're offering, or they're not coming back, they're not being loyal, or they're not, or you're going to go into a new enterprise and it's something completely new. So I challenge you to consider creating a customer avatar in this down season. Unless you're in Christmas trees, then this is not your down season right now. But I challenge you to create this customer avatar for each of your enterprises and see if this helps you in the upcoming season. So what you would do is you can use this template, or they're all pretty similar. And you're going to fill in the information around this that you have. And then you get to name your avatar, right? So when I first did this for my CSA, probably 7 years ago, actually. So mine was Joanne, the local food supporter. So That was who she was. Um, and um, and then when you are doing any copy, writing any copy for advertising, posting anything on social media, writing your newsletter, um, developing your logo, any of that marketing and advertising, you are speaking to this avatar, not anybody else, getting rid of that white noise. You're speaking to your ideal customer. What would your customer avatar like to hear? And you can make multiple of these. So you can make one for your U pick. You can make one if you do workshops, right? For your agritourism. You can make one for your CSA if you have one of those. So you can have multiple customer avatars depending on your target segment. That can be kind of similar, maybe a little different, but start with one. Start with your biggest enterprise too. So let me show you an example. This is based on my experience and also some research uh, with the Global Agritourism Network, or GAN, that is doing research on agritourism across the world. So here is a sample customer avatar for agritourism in New York State. So this is Sarah, the experience-loving locavore. And you'll see I put some demographic data right in the middle, right? So she's 37, she's a school teacher, she's married, she's got 2 kids, she's in the middle income bracket. And then travel too. Travel is really important for agritourism because they have to get to your farm, right? So how is she getting there? Car. Maybe she's, teaming up with her friends to carpool. Maybe she's biking, right? And then this is what we're looking at with our customer avatar. What are her values? So this goes beyond demographics. Sometimes when people hear about customer avatars, they just think about the demographics. That to me is like the most minimal part of it, right? But what are her values? What is Sarah, the experience-loving locavore, seeking with your business? What is the value that you're creating for her? She values supporting local family farms. She really values authentic experiences. So she doesn't want anything fake or phony, and there's more on that later with research to underpin that. She really wants a community connection. She wants to feel connected to the community that she lives in. She's tired of big box stores, right? She does value sustainability and if it's pesticide free or whatever it is, right? But even just farms, even conventional farms, there is a way to explain farming. I mean, we know that farming is very, very complex and very complicated, and each farm does what it needs to do to sustain its farm. So it's just a matter of conveying that to the consumer, because as we know, the consumer really needs a lot of education about this. And she values beautiful visuals, quality products. You can tell, I mean, we're in a selfie culture, right? So she's got to have a lot of places to take those photos that she can post. What are her goals? So knowing what your customers' goals are for when they come to your farm is really important. She wants to have a wholesome experience, right? She wants it to be relaxing. She's probably got decision fatigue from like taking care of 2 kids and having a job and all of the other demands on her life. You can see it over here in challenges and pain points. So she wants a relaxing experience. So then on your farm, you got to have good signage. You got to make sure that the decisions are very clear as to what they need. It could be just the decision is whether she gets like the big cup of cider or the medium cup of cider, right? She likes to buy local, buy fresh. She wants to have something unique, fresh cut flowers for herself or for special occasions, right? So you want to deliver that product for her. She likes crafting. She's a crafty person. She's not going to buy it. She's going to try to make it first. She likes, her goal is to have a very unique seasonal experience, culinary experience. So she's going to go apple picking and pumpkin picking in the fall. She's going to go to a local farm to pick out her Christmas tree. She's going to check out local greenhouses in the spring to buy her garden plants. And another good thing is she might have a summer side hustle, right? We're seeing the proliferation of this with flower farmers in New York State. A lot of flower farmers have another job, whether it's an education or a medical profession. They have another demanding job, and they're creating a side hustle that's something like a passion project. Something that will make them feel fulfilled. That's an important thing to know. She's got some goals that she's has for herself. Over here on the other side, challenges and pain points. So what are the things that are preventing your core customer, or Sarah, the experience-loving locavore? What are the issues that are preventing her from reaching your farm, from coming to your farm and buying things from you? Well, she's a busy mother, so she's time-starved, right? So you got to make it something that she's going to prioritize. It might be hard for her to find local things to do, that aren't just going to the movies or going shopping at the mall or something like that. If it's crafting, if you're offering workshops or classes on your farm, she might not know where to start. She might feel like, I don't know how to make a wreath. So being able to address that is going to be an important part of getting her to remove those barriers and getting her to come and to your wreath making class. She needs to entertain others. She's got kids. She's not going to pay for a babysitter in order to come to your farm. So is it kid friendly or is it not? And this is really important. And sometimes I don't see that really clearly delineated on classes and workshops that are meant to be for adults when I'm looking on social media at agritourism farms. Okay, VFR. If you're in marketing, you know this. Visiting friends and relatives. People are coming into town. She's like, oh man, I gotta show them a good time. What am I gonna do with them while they're here? Your farm is a perfect experience that everybody could get something out of, right? So you are saying, hey, I have a solution for you. Come to my farm. We got something for everybody here. So those visiting friends and relatives are super important, especially if you are seasonal, if your agritourism operation is seasonal in the summer when a lot of people tend to visit, they're coming back home to visit family. FOMO. FOMO is a huge motivator, fear of missing out, especially in our age of social media where everybody's posting. If it's not on social media, it doesn't count. It didn't happen, right? So that is a challenge. That's a pain point. You want to kind of build on that sense of urgency, or uniqueness, like, hey, limited time offer. You can only come pick pumpkins for a few weeks, that kind of thing. Another challenging pain point, self-care, right? This goes back to her goal. She wants a wholesome, relaxing experience. So there's a wellness component to customers these days where they want to get out, they want to be in the fresh air, they want to feel connected to nature for all of the benefits of that. And lastly, you're going to look at buying behavior. And this sources, I should actually be more clear. These are sources of information of where they are learning about your product, right? Your farm. Where are they getting that information? What are their sources of information that they're kind of choosing what to do. So we know this, she's a school teacher. She's used to being organized, right? She's going to book early. If you have, her buying behavior is that if you are offering a class or a workshop or an on-farm experience, like a concert or a tour or something, she does not want just show up at this time. No, she wants to book early. She wants to make sure she's got her spot. She's gonna talk to her friends in her group chat and get, a couple other people involved to make this an experience. Or she is completely unscheduled. She's got some downtime on an afternoon. She's got the kids. She doesn't want to stay at home and do laundry. She's like, it's a nice day. Let's get out of here, right? So you kind of have these two opposing pieces, but you got to know her buying behavior. She's looking for an affordable luxury. So this is going to be super important going into 2026 because finances are tight for most everybody in this customer avatar. So due to increasing prices. So they feel like luxuries. They feel like they're treating themselves, going back to that self-care, and offering an agritourism experience that is, it's going to cost something, but it's still pretty affordable. She can fit it into her disposable income budget. It's going to be really important, right? Her sources of information. This is she looks for local food. She buys at the farmer's market when as much as she can. So that's going to be a good source of information for her. Like I said, that friend group chat, the power of word of mouth. Where is word of mouth happening? It's happening in our little phones. This is where it's happening, right? We're getting it through friends, especially with this age group. This is a busy age group right here. So if you can get into the friend group chat, that's awesome. Social media, all of the different platforms are good sources of information. We are so lucky that we have farms, and therefore we can put beautiful visuals on that attract our core customers and inspire our core customers in a way that few other businesses can, right? It's hard to get a beautiful visual from a dentist office, right? Whereas an agritourism farm, we got you. You need vistas, you want sunsets. This is where we shine. So those beautiful visuals are really compelling. And buying behavior, multi-generational visits. This goes back to those visiting friends and relatives, needing to entertain others. If you are offering an agritourism experience on your farm, chances are, you've already experienced this, you have groups of people coming, you have families coming. They're bringing the kids, their cousin who's visiting from out of town, and their parents, right? So you have these multi-generational groups that are all looking for something a little different. They all have kind of different needs, but that 70 plus year age group tends to be the age group that has more disposable income. So being able to cater to that group is also very important. So hopefully this helped inspire you to create a customer avatar of your own. This is just a general sample, but you can definitely make one for your own business, depending on what type of agritourism operation that you have. Okay, and I just wanted to underscore that the note I made about authenticity. This is from research from the Global Agritourism Network, and it is that the elements that most attract these customers to gastronomy tourism. So, going to a farm and eating farm to table, authentic experience. Customers these days are very savvy. They can sniff out if something is inauthentic really quickly, and they don't want it. If it feels fake, if it feels forced, if it feels like something's not what it says it is, they will know. And that can jeopardize customer loyalty. So when you are creating your agritourism experience for your core customer, just know that they want to connect with you. They want to connect with your farm. They want that authentic experience. And as much as possible in a safe way, obviously, but that's what they want. So I just want to underscore that the research shows that. So, all right, how am I doing on time? We got a few more here, a few more slides. Okay, so now that we've talked about the business tool that I hope you guys are all inspired to create for yourself with the customer avatar, now we can move into starting to use those customer insights in order to stay in business and evaluate those market opportunities that we're talking about, right? So how do you collect these customer insights? There's a whole body of market research devoted to this. People's entire professions are devoted to this, user experience and customer insights. But for you, you can do it too. It's not too hard. A super easy way to start is, let's say you have two options that you are trying to choose between. Ask your customers what they prefer without you having to choose. What do they prefer? So those this or that polls are really helpful because they force the customer to make a choice. Only two though, this or that. It's super easy to put on social media. 3-question surveys. You might see these, like this picture. You will see these. I just was at, I can't remember which store. I was just at a store over the weekend. They had these right when you exited the store. I was like, oh, I know the 3-question survey. So that's what they're getting. So if you can send those out to your customers that you have, and ask them 3-pointed questions, you're going to get a lot of customer insights that you can dive into. If you are new to selling direct to customer or new to agritourism, this may be your first, second, third season, somewhere in there, right? I highly recommend doing a 10-minute interview with your ideal customer or one of your core customers, right? Think of a few questions to ask them, even if it's the 3 questions. Call them up on the phone, talk to them in person, have a good 10-minute conversation with them, of asking them about how they feel about your farm, your agritourism operation. Allowing them the chance to speak about that will give you an insane amount of insight into why they choose your farm, what makes them feel connected to it, what the value that they feel it creates. And you can use those words. You can use their own words in your marketing. It's an incredibly powerful thing for your customer to go through. They feel so valued. They feel like you really see them and understand them, and you want to be a partner with them. And it also really helps you. I mean, you will have that information for ages. Ask a check-in. If you're curious as to how your customers found you, ask them, hey, how'd you hear about us? Right? Note it, jot it down, note it. Initiate and listen to conversations. So if you hear conversations like out in the field or out in the U-Pick, especially it's to like, oh, where do I go for this? How do I pay for this? Where's the bathroom? Those are all really important conversations to listen to so that you can create a better customer experience. Observe feedback. So once you get that feedback, you got to do something with it, right? But also observe what people are buying. Sales records, right? What sells, what doesn't. Take out what doesn't sell. And then track those regional agritourism trends. So you might have a tourism network in your area. Talk to them. See what they're seeing. Who's coming to your region? Who is visiting? Where are they coming from? That's going to be really important. If we had more time, I would open this up to you, but think about this. Which ways of these, if you do any of these, which ways are working for you already? How are you collecting your customer insights? And are you tracking them over time? Because you should definitely do that. All right. Are any of you, you can do a show of hands, are any of you considering changing your operation a little bit for the next season? You could do show of hands over here. Are you considering a new price point? Are you considering a new enterprise? Are you considering adding a new product? Mm-hmm. Nadia is, Stephanie is, Megan is. Okay, all right. So you got some decisions to make. Okay, so these are called market assumptions, right? So you are assuming that this new price point or this enterprise or product is something that your customer is going to like. So you're going to track it. You're going to test it. Maybe it's a price increase. Frankly, everybody's doing a price increase. The cost of doing business increasing. Or maybe you're doing a product bundle, right? Or you're adding a new enterprise like perennial lavender. This is an agritourism farm that's right near us called Kenlock, and she planted lavender years ago and then built an event barn, and now you can have pictures taken in the lavender in season. So you know she's got a whole product bundle right there, right? So being very clear about what your market assumption is for your new for your whatever it is new that you're considering. So if it's a new enterprise, what's the price point going to be? What's the product or service that's going to be attached to it? What is your activities list? What is the value to your customer? Who is your target customer or target segment customers? Whatever it is, you got to start writing all of that down so that you can be able to test those market assumptions. And as you can see, this looks like it's a great marketing thing, but you can see her market assumptions in there and what she's testing. So who wants to get married at a lavender farm? Boom, right there. She is focusing on attracting her core customer. And then she is showing you what that core customer looks like right here with this picture. So these two things are very connected. And then she's inviting her potential core customer to an open house. So she's testing her market assumption by having an open house and seeing how many people come to it, right? So do you need to register for the open house? So I forgot what she had put on there, but she's trying to get an idea of, you know, how many people are going to book for that. So I thought this was a great example of how this farmer is going to test her assumptions. Okay, testing method. Here are your four steps. Pilot it as small as you can. Please do not try to think that, okay, you've piloted with 35 CSA members and now you're going to jump to 105. Having done that, I do not recommend. 10 out of 10, do not recommend that, right? It's a recipe for disaster. So you want to pilot, and then you want to just increase incrementally. Gather that feedback. Like I said, write it down, be honest with yourself after you're doing your testing phase and your growth phase. Track your sales data. If you're using Square or Clover or some, sales processing, you can easily track it. It tracks it for you. So you can track those week over week sales. You can track month over month sales, year over year sales. Create an inventory sheet. So if you are offering products in like a farm stand or something like that, keep that inventory sheet going. What did you pack in there and when? What's selling and what is staying on the shelves for a very long time? And seeing what you can pull, how you can merchandise that area. And then track it year over year. Okay, then you have number 4. After you've tested, you're kind of in the growth phase. You have a system for gathering feedback. You're tracking your sales data to see what sells and what doesn't, what's profitable. You're adjusting your approach. So this is called A/B testing. So you're going to put out like 2 options for your marketing or advertising, and you're going to see which one connects with your core customer better. You can tweak it and try again. So I love this example too. This is another orchard near Lockport where I live. And they started out as just a very simple apple U-pick. And they have, over the years, steadily built this wonderful, very authentic experience for agritourism. And it's all very apple-based. So they offer there's apple cider slushies. People come from miles around to get these. And of course, they're apple cider donuts, right? But this is an excellent example of how they started small and then they incrementally built on that based on what their customers were asking for. And they do a good job with A/B testing. And they have this right here on their website is actually a rotating picture with like apple U-pick, donuts, cider slushies. And it's a very good example of how they are testing. All right. So last slide has a lot of words on it, but these are questions that I want you to be able to answer for your agritourism business. These are the questions that you will need in order to seize those market opportunities, because a lot of stuff does come to us and we got to be able to say, yes, I want to go and do that, or no, that's not a good fit for us, right? So you're using that customer feedback that you have attained, and you're attaining it every season to continue to refine your product. And in this case, your agritourism product is your customer experience. So you need to be able to answer, who's your ideal customer? What problem does your agritourism experience solve for your customer? So if they're super stressed and worn out and don't know what to do with their kids and their cousin that's visiting, here's your solution. A beautiful day out on a farm, something for everyone, right? You have to be able to clearly communicate what are the benefits to the customer. So it's not just, hey, look at all my attractions. It's, hey, I have this wonderful, wholesome experience. It's an oasis that you can come to, rest, relax, enjoy, connect with nature. These are the benefits to your customer, so that your customer will feel like they're going to go home, rested, relaxed, and they have a beautiful bouquet of flowers that are totally fresh. Those are all the benefits that you can communicate to your customer. I love this story. This is a totally different topic, branding. And I love working with farms on their branding, but I had to throw this question in there. How are you going to make your customer the hero of your brand story? So I know that's a loaded question, but I think it's really important because it puts the customer at the center of your marketing efforts. Um, and just the same way that customer avatar does. So it's not about you, it's about the customer, right? It's about creating value that your customer is going to want. Knowing when and where your customers are buying is very important, very practical. Um, and that will help you figure out how are you going to innovate? How are you going to offer something that they want that's so special? Nobody else offers it, and they crave it. They want it. You got to know what your best selling and most profitable product is so you can focus on that, right? And I just wanted to leave you with this that agritourism farms are so, there's so much potential for collaborating, right? And as farmers, we know sometimes it's an isolating experience. It's just you or your family out there, your employees, doing the farm work. But being able to network and partner and collaborate with other small businesses in your area is wonderfully engaging. It's renewing. It's exciting for you, and it's great for the customers. They love to see that collaboration. So some options. You can collaborate with other farmers. If you guys do a holiday trail or an open farm trail or an open farm day in your area, we're putting one together with a bunch of farms for it's like a candy cane trail. So other farmers, restaurants, schools and childcare facilities, caterers, different associations, groups, gardening clubs or social service clubs, small stores, social media influencers. So if anybody has a great partnership that they would like to share, I love hearing about those. And I've given you a couple of options right here. This is, I had to do Christmas trees, 'tis the season. So this is a social media influencer, things to do in upstate New York. And here she is going out on a Christmas tree farm, gonna cut down her tree, right? This is Lava Cats Greenhouse is a greenhouse that's here in Western New York, and they do a fantastic job of collaborating with other small businesses, and they have a fall vendors market inside their greenhouse. They do one in the spring, one in the fall, and one for Shop Small Saturday. And I just wanted to show that, and it gets great attendance every time. And who would have thought? I mean, a greenhouse in the fall is usually pretty bare bones, but no, they do a great job. So, all right. So I'm just going to leave you with these few things. Please remember to know your customers, get to know them, test your ideas before you scale up. Write down those results so that you have them. I certainly don't remember what I did 14 years ago. So, right. So keep it for the long run. Be honest with yourself about what your customers want and don't want. Keep learning. Thanks so much for being here, and yeah, keep continuing to cultivate your support network. So thank you so much for listening. I will turn it over to Lindsay now.